here, and today I have another thought. Today I was thinking about the personal and the political. Not to be confused with that the phrase from the 60s or 70s, Hanish, the feminist, I forgot her first name, the personal is political or the private is political. And I don't mean it in that context either. Even though the original context supposedly of that statement has been lost, I think that the sentiment is actually being used on a way grander scale. And actually, the personal is becoming the only politics. You know, that's what identity politics is. I believe it's taking your personal experience, your personal incidents, or how you were born. Allegedly, sometimes it's how you choose, what you're choosing, to do or be, or who you're choosing to be, and then you're politicizing it, and people are politicizing it on a grand scale. So, that statement in itself was probably meant to do that. I think that they do. The CIA, which was responsible for the feminist movement, in my opinion, they do tactics like that. They enter phrases into the lexicon that are supposed to have some greater, phrases that become like these symbols or these rallying cries, I guess, or these ways to impart doctrine, to influence the society in a certain way. And I bet you they knew that eventually people would boil down the personal down to the fucking last characteristic. I have gray hair, I have French tip nails naturally, I have long eyelashes. It's going to get ridiculous, even more so than it already is. It has, but I'm not talking about that. Even though I was, but this video is not referring to that at all. It's actually first referring to myself personally, who I think I am, and then my politics and what I think about what I believe politics is. So personally, I'm someone who does believe wholeheartedly that you can't judge people just on who they are, or their identity, or their incidental characteristics. You just can't do it. It's like an impossible metric. I don't even think you can even judge them, based upon the actions or whatever, or stereotypes. Of course, even though I believe that some stereotypes are mostly true. But me personally, I just can't see that way. That's why I like the things I like, and I get into the things that I get into, because I feel like you can take something from everybody, whether it's good or bad. You shouldn't limit yourself and your understanding to judging people based on incidents. I think that's foolhardy. I think it's just absolute, it's moronic. I say that word a lot because a lot of things are behaving moronically. But that's what I believe personally. And I believe in being in niceties, and I believe in decorum. I believe when you're in public, you should be acting a different way than you do in your home. And I believe that when you're in someone else's home, you should act with decorum as well. You should treat their home better than your own. And you should treat their home, and you should treat your own home with that same standard in mind. That's what I believe. And personally, I don't judge people. I just initially don't come up with I don't judge people based upon incidents. The only time I do is probably when I'm driving. Everyone's boiled down to their goddamn incidents. But other than that, I can't really say that I will not be friends with someone or not speak with someone with regard to anything. It could be ideology. It could be, you can be your race, your color, you're the 1 millionth new gender pronoun. I don't give a fuck. It just bothers. It's crazy that people actually do. That's kind of why I started my journey in studying the things that I do, especially like with Black history and understanding like the animus that is naturally occurring, I think now, in a lot of the suspected white supremacists and the white supremacists, and they're behaving on another level that's way more deeply rooted than just skin color, even though that's like one of the basis of their animus. But it was just me trying to figure out how people could think in a way that generalizes people based upon not even meeting them or speaking with them, and having all these grand assumptions about someone or something without investigating it or looking into it, or just getting a cursory knowledge base of something. I think a lot of people are making judgments and actually saying things are factual based upon nothing more than the incidents of the person. They believe that someone who looks like them, or someone who behaves like them, or has the same proclivities or whatever, should think like them, should behave like them, should have their same standards and mores, which are usually on the floor. They think that you should personally align with them. And I think that's where I kind of, I depart sometimes from a lot of things because they expect me to think in these general terms. That's like with, I'll get to the politics, but with politics, it's the same thing. Like, I'm supposed to vote this way, I'm supposed to think this way because of my incidental characteristics without doing any investigation. And in my investigation, like politically, I am apolitical. I want to go with the man with the right plan if I'm going to vote, and I haven't voted since 2008. But politically, that's why I haven't voted since 2008, because politically I have a hard line, and that's for Black empowerment. Full stop. That's why I barely even wanted to vote for Barack Obama, because I was like, what is he going to do? He's literally selling us hope, What is hope? Hope is basically faith. So this country is full of growing agnostics and atheists believe in hope but not faith. Like, I feel like we're just being duped, by rhetoric all the time, and no one wants to actually. That's why no one's holding the politicians accountable, because voting is the only thing that people are told is how they support the society, and not in anything else. Voting is the only way that will fix the society, is voting for these duplicitous scumbag politicians. That's why I'm apolitical, and that's why I don't just on the face, I don't accept what somebody would say about a political figure without doing my own investigation. And I think that's the same with me personally. That's why I don't want to judge people based on their incidental characteristics. And you can't, because it's just, that's how you get taken advantage of. And politically, that's how Black people have been taken advantage of. Is because they just put a black face in front of us, and he's just a black tool. Your incidence doesn't matter when it comes to politics specifically, and that's the easiest way. It's the easiest way to infiltrate. It's the easiest way to get people to lead people astray. Is to send them a leader who looks like them, and who can speak in generalities, really, about what they can do for our community. They never promise anything. They sell us hope and things of that nature. It's just everything they sell us is just a new version of hope, or a synonym for hope. But I just, that's why politically I'm just who I am. And I think that over the past, especially since I had children, I understand it greater than I did before. Yeah, we have to have standards in society, especially if we want our children to grow up and take the mantle. But what has happened is standards have been absolutely erased, and anybody can behave like anything they want out in the real world, and anyone can influence the children with any of their ideologies. They can put anything in cartoons, they can put anything in front of their faces, they can put big drag queens with dildos hanging out of their fucking crotch in front of kids, and all they have to do is apologize. And they can't speak to the trauma that some kid may see or may have because of the actions of these insidious adults. But there's nobody being held accountable for the destruction. Because personally, like, I am, or politically, I am apolitical. But personally, I know that there's a lot of things that voting can be valuable if you're voting for the right candidate, and the candidate has the wherewithal to do something for the locale that they are, wanting to, run for, to have influence over. I don't understand why nothing gets changed. Nothing changes. Everything gets worse, and then people still get put in office. And these people become millionaires and billionaires that we know. They probably have so much money offshore that we don't know about. Just based upon what? Their political allegiance, because you are so aligned to that whatever ideology one party says. I think that's just one of the most, I don't know. Maybe I'm the person who has the problem, obviously, because I don't see why these allegiances even still exist, especially since all the politicians are hurting us, and and allow the planet to be hurt, especially all you climate clowns. You guys know that you guys are voting for people who actually instituted a lot of the laws and helped, allow the companies who are the ones responsible for the destruction that you say is happening to the environment, but you're still voting for them. You're actually allowing them to use your incidental characteristics, so you keep supporting them, and you're not actually noticing that the revolution is coming from the corporations, and all they're playing on is emotion. And I don't think it's even for money, because a lot of these corporations are losing money doing that stuff. I think it's just that they're influenced by ideology that they know, is going to control the people better, because you attach their personal to the politics. When personal is you yourself. That's 7 billion people on the planet. There's almost 400 million probably in the United States. So we need to care about the personal situations of every single person in the United States, or we need to take our personal situation or something that happens in the house. For example, like in the 60s and 70s, our argument was the man gets to come home, take off his shirt with a white beater on, and slap the shit out of his wife and stomp her out and give her a power bomb and shit because she burnt the meatloaf and the mashed potatoes weren't ready. It's like this insidious, this horrible power dynamic that was created based upon some incidences. So now we have to connect our struggle or our personal issues in our marriage to everyone else, which is impossible to do. It's like when you find out that these drugs don't actually work, and they did all these studies. Their studies were 2,000 people, out of 2,000 people, this many people had these side effects, or this many people had this side effects. So, the drug's approved now because we determined that the benefits outweigh the side effects. But then later, when they pull that drug off the market, because way more people are having more adverse reactions because they actually got to test it on a larger population, then they're like, oh, sorry about that. All the data back then, we did the data. The case study was approved. The FDA approved it. Man, it's I don't know. I know I'm limiting. I'm like being very, very vague, and I'm not I'm not giving these things the credit they probably deserve. There's probably more that goes into it. But, the more I look into it, it's like, it really isn't. A lot of things are politically placed, approved by the FDA. It has nothing to do with benefits to the population. Nothing at all. And then they start finding out that these drugs that they tested so much on something else, now it's useful for something else. Or like Botox or something like that. I don't even know where I'm going anymore. All I know is that the personal is not, personally, I know that I'm a nice guy. I'm probably too nice. I know that if people actually met me in person, and actually people can't really say that in person, that I was, a bad person. They can only judge me by how they feel about how they personally feel about like maybe my online behavior, or maybe how harsh or vulgar I can be, or how matter of factly I speak, or in engage online. But and that's based upon my politics, because my politics is really set in stone, and that's one thing that I'm not amenable is my politics of black empowerment. So when people start trying to force their political beliefs on me, and they don't have anything to do with black empowerment, especially when they start playing the oppression hierarchy, and doing all this dumb shit, and like now your incidents that you just chose yesterday is like greater than black oppression, and your organization should get all the money, and then you just use the black struggle to gain money for your bearded guy society, or your fucking big ear society, or the fuck you guys are doing now, or how you trying to group these fake communities together. I just can't allow people to try to impart their politics on me, especially when they're the ones who are trying to speak matter of factly. When they're saying, "Oh, if you're this, you should be murdered in the street. Oh, if you're this, oh, if you vote this way, you're just the most evil person on the planet." And I'm like, you're the most evil person on the planet because you didn't research shit. You're a scumbag promoting rumors, and you're using your promotions to sway you, instead of looking at things at least with some kind of humility. Approach it with some kind of humbleness, and try to gain knowledge. And then once you get the full picture and start getting both sides, and understanding that there may be, understanding the roadblocks in the way, and understanding that a lot of these situations and a lot of the circumstances in the world now, the bureaucracy holds it up, but also a lot of the problems are so complicated they can't be voted away. It takes a lot more effort from the community, and that's everybody in the real community, not these false communities that are only being made to divide this country. That's why I like calling it, that's why politically I think this is a communist infiltration, because they're purposely dividing us, and they're purposely trying to get one half of the country to want to destroy the other half. And the one half is not the half that you're thinking. It's a half that is actually trying to use morality, to garner, to actually make it seem right that they're destroying or trying to kill people. And not just kill them, murder them, or make sure life is no longer in their body. Kill them and anything they have in their lives, their careers, their families. They want them not be able to pay a fucking car note. I don't know. But anyways, we have to get back to understanding each other, so we understand that we have greater things in common than who we are personally. And that should help us understand that politically, we definitely have a lot of work to do. But this system's done. The politicians are way too entrenched in the billionaires and the trillionaires. And there's quadrillionaires. I bet you Bezos probably has way more money than we ever could count, that we ever could even put on a chart. They just throw a number out there just so we just can like marvel at it. But I got the COVID dick. So I was playing. But anyway, that's my thought of the day.